So today the path of building has been updated and we have the new skill tree. Um, in this video today my goal is to show you how the cold damage over time build on Occultist is going to perform. Um, let's just say that this is day 1 scenario. My tree is around level 80 something. This is not the exact tree because we are still in 320 patch right now. I'm going to give you the updated 3.21 tree later, but it's similar to what you will play at League Start. In terms of items, my items are dirt cheap and very bad. You can definitely get much better items. These are just some basic items to just showcase how this build would perform on a low budget. Like for example, this ring, come on, it's not even a good ring. It's not even worth paying 2 chaos for a ring like this. But anyway, these are the items. It's important that you buy gloves with inflict exposure on hit. Just the implicit, it doesn't have to be an int base. Just to have that implicit, any tire, inflict cold exposure on hit. And then you throw in an essence of delirium, I guess, to give you socketed gems deal more damage over time. For the helmet, this is where I have an issue because I don't know exactly the mana and I didn't bother calculating it in POB. But basically, because my helmet has the enchant with the determination mana reservation efficiency, you may be forced to drop vitality. Because in this patch, in 321, we no longer have the vitality has increased mana reservation efficiency. So you have to keep that in mind. You may be forced to drop vitality because of that, and probably even lower some of the clarity levels. But the idea is for you to buy a helmet that has the implicit with increased mana reservation efficiency as high as possible, and then throw a deafening essence of loathing for another 10% mana reservation efficiency. Sure, this helmet is good because it has armor and some life and an empty prefix and also chance to suppress spell damage, but that's not the point. The idea is for as an explicit you need mana reservation efficiency and you buy the base with at least 8% increased mana reservation efficiency of skills. Other than that, tabula rasa, the belt, basic belt, like look at this one, it's not even a good one. For example, you can probably get a better one for 5 chaos, much better. Um, Amulet, same thing, nothing special about this amulet at all. The shield, again, nothing. Maybe it's a bit good because it has chance to block, but it's super easy to buy a much better shield. Um, Flasks, they are not even crafted well. One thing that will change in this
When I'm ready,
in
and
this
not
league,
before.
we are not going to use Vol Molten Shell, or at least until I get to the Mage Blood. I'm not going to use Molten Shell, and I'm instead going to use Steel Skin because let's just show you real quick. So here's how much a Molten Shell would give me in this current patch. In next patch it would give me half, so not even 1k armor. So that's why we use Steel Skin. In terms of the tree, I updated my tree as much as possible for 321, but it's still not at that point. Um, I'm going to show you a logbook real quick. The only difference is, like for example, this is a very dangerous logbook. I would probably not run it because it has vulnerability, but still, let's just see if I can
This logbook
actually
has some
complete
fairly
this logbook.
detailed discussion of Uhtred's
Um,
declaration that virtue gems.
when you are doing logbooks in the beginning of the
Going
league,
live.
especially if your
Are you
build is
sure
not
about
strong
that one?
enough,
Seems
you have to pay
risky.
attention to the modifiers. Like for example, you cannot take this modifier. Also, you don't take these. The same goes for this as well. You have to pay attention to what modifiers you pick. Like ward, for my build, it's okay to take ward. It's not a big issue. But I know some builds cannot do ward. Um, Monster hits cannot be evaded. It is not a big issue unless you are evasion build. What's important, you don't take immune to curses. You definitely on this build cannot run immune to curses. Physical has extra chaos, especially on this one with vulnerability. I would advise you to not take it. Cannot inflict exposure. Once again, you should not take it, or ignite or poison. These are hard modifiers that, like for example, this right here, don't take it. Poison, no, it's a big no. And let's just actually
when I'm ready,
do it like this.
and not before.
Or like this. And let's just see if I can complete it. Once again, this is an item, an area level 83 logbook, and my my build is not even worth 100 chaos, to be honest. Probably it's the most expensive thing in this build. It's going to be this jewel, which you can expect to pay maybe 50 chaos in day one, but still it's very cheap build. And also day one you're not farming item level 83 logbooks. Look at that.
Too much clutter.
Anyway, this was the build. As you can see, it can run logbooks just fine. Definitely can kill Vorana, but you have to pay attention and you have to not use repeat modifiers. Even though, if you still sometimes pick some repeat modifiers, I think you can still complete it with 6 portals. But I would advise you to pay attention. This was a very dangerous logbook because it has less armor and also it has vulnerability. If you don't use steel skin, vulnerability is going to be much of a bigger issue. And in regards to Pantheon, since now we are using steel skin, we are taking here less duration of poison on you. Whereas previously we would use this physical damage over time taken while moving, and you can swap between these two, right? If you don't have any poison, if you don't have any poison on your logbook, you definitely can, and you have bleed and steel skin is not enough, you can definitely swap to this one. But generally you are going to use this Soul of Shakari. Now I'm going to go over the build real quick. It's not a brain dead build. It may seem like it, but you are going to press a lot of buttons. So here we have Flame Dash, Arcane Surge. We are going to definitely drop it. I don't know what I'm going to replace this with, but we no longer use Arcane Surge. Here we have blasphemy with determination, temporal chains. It's very important that temporal chains is put on blasphemy because the mobs will not move. Look at them. Um, then we have steel skin. Here we have shield charge. Molten shell, you no longer use molten shell. Um, then with faster attacks, vitality, elemental weakness, clarity, frostbite. Here on my gloves is very important that on your gloves you have vol cold snap with efficiency, bond shield, and control distraction. On my 6 link I have Vortex and Creeping Frost with Swift Affliction, Control Distraction, Inspiration Support, and Elemental Focus. You are going to drop Inspiration when you get awakened, when you get Empower level 4 or awakened Empower. Um, and if you paid attention, when I was running logbooks and a remnant would explode, I would put this skill right here, which is Cold Snap with Vortex, Creeping Frost, and also I would use two curses. One is Frostbite, like this, and the other one is Elemental Weakness. And my third curse would be Temporal Chains on Blasphemy. It's very important that you have Temporal Chains. Um, Punishment is more damage, but Temporal Chains will make sure that you don't die. In terms of flasks, just Divine Life Flask, Quicksilver, Jade, Quartz. It's very important that you have Quartz. Quartz is the most important, and since we are running Determination, you also need Granite Flask. If you go the route with Grace, you have to have Jade, and maybe you can replace with maybe Steve Knight if you don't care about armor. Now let's go over the tree. Um, this is not the actual tree you're going to use because it's going to be changed, and now I'll show you the POB. This is not a leveling tree. I will leave um, a video in the description how to level the cold dot. It's from a racer. Um, Things changed a little bit because they removed the onslaught support. Arcane Surge no longer works, although it can still be used in the way that guy uses. Um, the Wands craft also changed. So the leveling changed a little bit, but mainly it's still the same tree and doesn't require many regrets to swap to my tree. So this is the tree right here. Probably the only thing that will uh, slow you down would be getting access to this glorious vanity jewel in the name of Doriani. But other than that, you don't really need any unique items. Maybe tabula rasa, but you can replace it with any 6 link. And you have to have a jewel with corrupted blood cannot be inflicted on you. The level here, it says level 84. It puts me at 3.7k HP and 1.8k energy shield, which is roughly around 6k effective HP. But as you saw in that demonstration, it's um, very easy to do logbooks. Now let's go over my tree here. So here's what I was talking about. Because they removed that 40% increased effect of non-damaging elements on the elemental mastery, you take the glacial cage here because the nodes leading up to it will give you 20% increased effect of chill, and then enemies permanently take 1% increased damage, so that means up to a maximum of 10% increased damage for tougher enemies. Um, it's very important that you take this steeped in profane. Um, Actually, what I forgot to do in this was add um, enemies you curse are hindered with 15% movement speed, and your curses have 20% increased effect if these curses right these two curse masteries right here are not needed, um, but I think they're very good. I think they're good masteries, but they're not needed. So this would put us at level 86. Um, the tree, you go bottom here and you take the mana. You also take the mana here. The mastery here is going to be aura from your skills have 10% increase effect. And here is going to be increased damage for each of your aura. Here you take all the area of effect nodes. Don't skip on these are very important. And if your next two levels are going to be area of effect node here and area of effect node here. You also path this way. You take the only life mastery that you take, it's 50 maximum life. And here with the divine judgment and the elemental mastery is going to be exposure you inflict applies at least minus 18. So if we go back to my gloves right here, you inflict exposure on hit minus 11. But since you have that mastery, it's going to be minus 18. In late game, um, you drop this mastery, but this is just for day one example of the build. Um, and you take here purity of flesh, and maybe your next upgrades would be like this. So at level 90, this is how your tree should look like, and you can farm a bunch of currencies with this build. Now I'm going to show you how this build would look like in endgame. I don't want to post the actual endgame tree because it changed a little bit. Like for example, we used to have this stun avoidance and elemental elements avoidance.
That would just
I'm not
make
sure
life
exactly
complicated.
how I will modify my build to fit to once again reach cap stun
When
avoidance
I'm
and
ready,
elemental
and
elements
not
avoidance.
before.
So this is why I'm not posting an endgame build, but you can look at this and it can be you can take inspiration from this build right here because it's pretty min max and the difference is not going to be that huge. Let's just take I think Ashenwood is a great map. Actually, did not expect I would die here to those monsters. But basically, the build is very tanky. Um, it's unfortunate that I died there, but I guess this. Actually, I'm not even sure why I died there. I guess because of the impale. I don't know. But this is basically how the build works in endgame, and you can expect to have around
Hail.
20 million DPS, something like that, meaning after investing hundreds of divines in the build. I will leave a POB with this exact tree, but keep in mind it's going to be changed a little bit in 321. Um, Maybe after the new league starts and I reach endgame, I will post an update. Anyway, good luck with your league start, and if you are interested in farming currencies um, with logbooks, this build I highly recommend it to you. As you saw earlier, uh, with minimum investment, it could run item level 83 logbooks just fine. Good luck.